Bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
And I'm Nicola De Zoiza. We start off with our headlines.
Tilak Marapana appointed as the new Minister of Foreign Affairs. Shiranti Rajapaksa summoned to the Criminal Investigations Department. Rohita Rajapaksa at the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division. Central Bank says laws are not changed on a daily basis to accommodate frequently evolving technological advancements. Import tax on sugar increased by 8 rupees. State Minister Dilan Pereira speaks of new trend set by thieves.
President's Counsel Tilak Marapana, a former Attorney General, was sworn in as the new Minister of Foreign Affairs before President Maithripala Sirisena this morning.
Secretary to the President Austin Fernando was also present at the swearing-in ceremony. Tilak Marapana was functioning as the Minister of Development Assignments. Marapana was sworn in as the new Minister of Foreign Affairs today, as the ministerial portfolio was left vacant following the resignation of Ravi Karunanayake. In 2001, Marapana served as the Minister of Defence as well as the Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation under the UNP government. In May this year, he was sworn in as Minister of Development Assignments.
On to another story that made the headlines tonight. Now, former First Lady Shiranti Rajapaksa was summoned to the Criminal Investigations Department today to record a statement regarding a defender belonging to the Cyrilia Savia Foundation, which was repainted to a different colour and given for her son Yoshitha Rajapaksa's use. Also today, former President's younger son, Rohita Rajapaksa, was summoned to the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division.
Our correspondent said the former First Lady was at the CID for nearly 5 hours. Heavy security was in place around the Criminal Investigations Department. Rohita Rajapaksa was summoned to the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division today to record a statement regarding the launch of a satellite named Supreme Sat-1 from China at the cost of over 320 million rupees. My 1 billion rupee vehicle is right there. Get it on camera because it will end up as scrap metal. They say it is worth 1 billion. I was first asked where the satellite is. I told them it is not something you can find by looking up at the sky with a magnifying glass like some of our ministers. I was also asked why this company was mentioned as one for business purposes. Not a single cent from Sri Lanka was spent on this. Money did not leave or enter Sri Lanka for this. It was a project by a Singaporean investor together with China. My mother was summoned to the CID, and for what? To say she was involved in the planning of Tajuddin's murder. If this government thinks that they can cover up their irregularities by questioning us and throwing us behind bars, they are wrong. To all the leaders of this government, I am telling you that even if you throw all 5 of us in my family in jail, we will carry on the battle of sending this government home. The former president's second son, Yoshitha Rajapaksa, has been summoned to the Criminal Investigations Department tomorrow morning. I have not been told anything about Tajuddin. I think it is about changing the colour of a vehicle. I have to ask my mother what they asked her when she comes out.
While several members of the Rajapaksa family were summoned to the Criminal Investigations Department to record statements over an alleged crime, our cameras captured the behaviour of party members and public representatives who had gathered in the area.
Convening a media briefing in Colombo today, the National Movement for Power Devolution was highly critical of the conduct of the present government.
If this government cannot continue to move forward, cannot punish the thieves and other wrongdoers, the question is, what is the point? Especially people like Vijayadasa Rajapaksa. There is a question regarding his role in the government. Is he carrying on as an agent of Mahinda Rajapaksa? Given the situation, can this government forge ahead like this, or should another government be established? They are protesting opposite the FCID and CID. They are creating havoc there as we speak. The defeated former president should also be there. So where is the law? As far as we know, this is a violation of the law, isn't it? It has come to a point where the law is not being implemented properly. Whenever they summon Mahinda Rajapaksa, Shiranti Rajapaksa, Namal, Yoshita, Gotabaya and Pazzo, these people shout and scream. Why? Because they want to cover the crime. Baby Namal is saying his family is being taken in to cover up the bond scam. When Gotabaya Rajapaksa was summoned to the bribery commission, they protested, holding a fake Sri Lankan flag, remember? This government has not taken any measure regarding that.
The Presidential Commission of Inquiry has reiterated it is governed by a mandate. Zulfiq Farzan reports on Bondgate.
Presidential Commission of Inquiry issued a statement this morning where it clearly states that the Commission has been very careful to ensure that only witnesses whose evidence is relevant and necessary will be called before this Commission of Inquiry. Now, the Commission makes it clear that it will not call witnesses whose evidence is not necessary or relevant merely because various persons express opinions in the media and other forums that these witnesses should be summoned. The Commission emphasizes that they are strictly governed by the mandate vested upon them. The Commission today questioned CEO of Perpetual Treasuries Limited Kasun Palisena on the PTL telephone conversation recording system. The Attorney General's Department stated the phone conversation recordings given by PTL contain 700 calls per day. The Aegis Department reiterated it finds it difficult to identify the transaction times as the recordings provided only contain the date. When asked how long it will take for Kasun Palisena to sort out the phone recordings and revert to the Commission, he said he would require a month. It came to light the system only records calls and does not mention if the call was an outgoing or incoming one. PTL presented its transactions in a series of folders before the Commission and the information was extracted from the DealNet system. The Aegis Department noted transfer of bonds must be recorded in the Lanka secure system, adding that if it is not indicated in the system, it is not according to the law. The Aegis Department highlighted it will challenge any transaction put forward by PTL which is not indicated in the Lanka secure system. According to Kasun Palisena, all details are recorded in the Lanka secure system. The backup of the DealNet system was taken by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka on the 6th of July 2017, the day the Monetary Board suspended PTL from carrying on business and other activities as a primary dealer. PTL today produced documentation to challenge the capital gain calculation by CBSL Additional Director of IT Vasanta Alves. When the Commission questioned the theory used for this purpose, PTL said it was an accounting standard. The Presidential Commission said PTL must produce said accounting standards to establish its claims. The evidence of Kasun Palisena was led by the attorneys appearing for Perpetual Treasuries Limited.
The Monetary Board of the Central Bank has suspended business activities of a primary dealer of Pan Asia Banking Corporation PLC for a period of 6 months.
According to the central bank, this regulatory action is based on the findings of an investigation carried out by the central bank related to PABC's transactions with Perpetual Treasuries Limited in the government securities market. The central bank says the regulatory action does not in any way affect PABC's ability to carry on banking activities set out in Schedule 2 of the Banking Act No. 30 of 1988 as a licensed commercial bank. PABC may continue to deal in government securities to the extent permitted under Schedule 2 of the Banking Act. Action will also be taken by the central bank to safeguard the interest of the customers and counterparties of PABC in the government securities market in an orderly manner. The central bank emphasizes this regulatory action restricts PABC's access to the primary auctions for government securities. However, it does not affect any of the other activities or services of PABC.
Minister Partali Champika Ranawaka responded to the views which are being expressed in the political arena on the Presidential Commission of Inquiry to investigate and inquire into the issuance of treasury bonds.
Some are saying that this Presidential Commission is going to the extent of punishing those in the present government, while others are saying that there is no use of this commission because it cannot impose punishments and that it is a blind-eyed move. This bond incident is no ordinary incident. Whatever said and done, the wealth acquired through this transaction has entered the balance sheet of Perpetual Treasuries. In 2014, this company started with 300 million rupees, and by 2015, it made profits amounting to more than 25,000 million rupees. So this had a direct impact on the treasury. This Presidential Commission can give instructions to the Attorney General to recover the wealth of all these companies. This Presidential Commission can also propose to the government and the central bank to take measures to prevent such an incident from recurring. Basil is the leader of the party with the flower bud, and 2 charges were filed against him. Similar facts were revealed that he has a house in Malvana and that he has another large house in Brownshill, Madra. These are just 2 of the small incidents from everything he has done. But they have no backbone to bring forth a no-confidence motion against Basil. They are shameless. They have no backbone to create leadership outside this family. Do they even have the right to criticize the Presidential Commission?
In addition to the reports on the media regarding the failed National Payment Platform project initiated by the ICTA, the central bank too has provided clarifications to certain important points regarding it. The central bank has sent out a media release in response to an article published on the Daily FT yesterday.
The release says the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has requested more information from the ICTA about the National Payment Platform when a proposal was presented on the 13th of May 2016. It adds that the request was made in order to get the details on system development, operation manuals, system security compliance with system standards and the external system audit framework, as well as to gather further knowledge regarding the NPP so that the CBSL could make an informed decision on its feasibility and security. The CBSL says the ICTA has not responded regarding these concerns up to date. CBSL emphasizes that any factors relating to a payment transaction such as payment messaging will also fall under the scope of a payment transaction and therefore be subject to regulation by the CBSL. The CBSL says that they had not received any response from the ICTA regarding this point as well. The release says the CBSL is committed to the further development of payment systems in the country. It has no intention of hindering the promotion of digitization of the economy. It lists out several key developments which have been made by the central bank in the recent past, including the introduction of real-time gross settlement system, nationwide T+1 check clearing system, launch of Lanka Sign, launch of SLIPS, launch of Lanka Pay and several others. CBSL assures the parties concerned that it is indeed aware of the differences between a system and a platform. Furthermore, it says that the CBSL is also aware that the NPP is a mechanism through which payment systems interact with customers and each other and carry out individual and consolidated functions. The CBSL therefore says the NPP constitutes an amalgamation of payments and settlement systems which inherently is under the regulation and supervision of of CBSL. The CBSL says it wishes to educate those concerned on the existence of the Monetary Law Act No. 58 of 1949 and the Payment and Settlement Systems Act No. 28 of 2005, which adequately addresses the question of regulatory coverage. In addition, the central bank says laws are not changed on a daily basis to accommodate the frequently evolving technological advancements. However, they are designed to safeguard the interests of the public and encompass present and future technological advancements.
Minister of Telecommunication and Digital Infrastructure Development Harin Fernando has clarified facts regarding the resignation of Muhundan Khanage, the CEO and Managing Director at the Information Communication Technology Agency, or the ICTA.
Daily News, quoting the Minister of Telecommunication and Digital Infrastructure Development, says the CEO of ICTA had to resign based on performance reasons. Minister Harin Fernando says there have been certain ongoing inquiries and certain other issues we have put to the board to consider regarding Khanage. The minister, according to the newspaper, has said we also had various programs we wanted expedited and most of the projects we wanted delivered he hasn't delivered yet. Minister Harin Fernando denies having communicated a message from the President asking Muhundan Khanage to resign. The minister says that Khanage's contract, which had come up for renewal 2 months ago, was only given a temporary extension.
Speaking at a meeting in Badulla yesterday, State Minister Dilan Pereira expressed his views on the resignation of the CEO of ICTA, Muhundan Khanage.
Just when he was getting caught for the theft he committed, Muhundan Khanage resigned from his post. This is a new trend which is being followed now after Ravi Karunanayake. Just because you resign from your post doesn't mean you are free from the case. That is not a path for you to go home without going to jail. Muhundan Khanage looked at Ravi Karunanayake and thought, well, he resigned and went home without going to jail, so I too can resign and go home without going to jail. This is absurd. Now from tomorrow, all the thieves will resign, hoping to go home without going to jail. So we say to Maithripala Sirisena, there's a new culture being created where those who should go to jail are looking to resign from their posts and go home. So please hand down the required punishment on Muhundan Khanage by putting him in jail, or else every rogue will follow these footsteps.
Tar was to be laid on a section of the Kirihena Road in Madawala, Dharaniyagala yesterday. Therefore, a technical officer from the Road Development Authority and an engineer from Maganaguma arrived at the location. The contract for this road development project had been given to a contractor without calling for tenders. The attempts made by the technical officer and the engineer to summon the contractor to the site proved futile. 8.9 million rupees was allocated for this project by the decentralized funds of parliamentarian Dr. Jayampati Vikramaratne. The Road Development Authority had prepared the project estimate where the entire fund allocation of 8.9 million rupees will be used. It is the Maganagama organization that had selected the contractor without following a tender procedure. According to the plan, tar must be laid on a 1,250 meter stretch of road. Of the selected 1,250 meter stretch of road, concrete had been laid on 550 meters by the previous government, which is in good condition even today. Yesterday, locals raised questions on this deceitful attempt to only develop a 700 meter stretch in a backdrop where plans and estimates were prepared to lay tar on a 1,250 meter stretch of road. Of the 700 meter stretch of road that is to be developed, gravel has been placed in an orderly manner only across 300 meters. The attempts made by the RDA technical officer to reason that gravel need not be placed in such a manner for the remaining 400 meters were not successful. Another issue surrounding this project is that the plan and estimates have been prepared without considering the geography and weather pattern in the area.
Why is the road being constructed without any drainage system? Why is such a thing being done? Where will the water flow to? Will it flow into the engineer's house or to the house of the technical officer who prepared the estimate? This is a fraud.
Development projects which pave the way for the general public to raise such questions, as well as projects carried out deviating from the adopted process, can only be termed as fraud and corruption. Minister of Higher Education and Highways, this is over to you.
Moving on to other local news now, the citizens of Sri Lanka who are strictly against corruption say those involved in fraud, corruption and other crimes should be tried before the law and punished rather than providing them protection. Protests should be held demanding that these people be arrested, not to keep them out. A crime is a crime no matter who does it. Do not pardon them. If the innocent people's money is being stolen, punish them, devoid of their position. They should be punished the same way the ordinary citizen is punished. Resigning is not a reason to be pardoned. The government is protecting the old rogues and the new rogues. The people of Balapitiya request that they clean up from scratch. The team of News First national campaign Sri Lanka Against Corruption, which commenced its journey from the Balapitiya town, reached Kalutara today.
You cannot escape from the theft you have committed. So when they know they can't, they resign, thinking the problem gets solved. Thieves should be chased away only after recovering what they stole.
It is always about deceiving and being deceived. If a society free of fraud and corruption can be created, that will be extraordinary. The main issue affecting this area is a sand racket which is taking place with the blessings of various officials. We are the ones who are mostly affected through all this corruption. There are several sand racketeers in Kenya. It is the politicians who are behind this. We are happy that at least now the corrupt are being driven away. We are in this fight until all of them are chased out.
The special commodity tax imposed on imported sugar has been increased by 8 rupees with effect from midnight today. The Ministry of Finance said this measure was taken as a result of a drop in sugar prices in the global market. The ministry points out there will be no increase in sugar prices in the domestic market due to the increase in the special commodity tax. The ministry hopes that a stable price can be given for the local sugar producer as a result of the drop in imported sugar prices following the increase in tax. The ministry says a kilogram of sugar in the world market has increased by around 10 rupees.
In the recent days, protests over slashing of Samurdhi benefits took place across the country. Who were masterminds behind planning these protests? Parliamentarian Buddhika Pathirana made a startling revelation today.
A meeting to raise awareness of the Samurdhi benefits among the beneficiaries of the Malimbara Divisional Jurisdiction took place today. This was initiated for political gains and to incite the Samurdhi beneficiaries. A call was made from the telephone number 041 22 38 276 to take part in the protests. This is the official telephone number given by Parliament to an MP representing the Mathura district. I have handed over the details to the intelligence services for investigations. It was a political campaign that spearheaded this. Who does 041 23 8276 belong to?
Meanwhile, Minister Vijit Vijayamuni Soiza expressed the following views in Bibila today.
It takes time for flowers to bloom on new trees. It does not happen overnight. They're all withered away. Who is providing leadership to this? The American, Basil. The other person is J.L. Piris. He is a person who cannot go home if he is dropped at the Borella junction with 1,000 rupees in his hand. These are the kind of people who have created a party.
State Minister Palitharange Bandara expressed the following views in Thabbowa today.
The law applies to all, even if they are ministers or members of parliament. That is why former Minister Ravi Karnanayaka had to appear before the Presidential Commission. They say that more people will be summoned in the future. Even we have cases against us. We go and appear before court. We respect the judiciary. We do not have to go there and reprimand or criticize the lawyers who question us or panic if the State Counsel from the Attorney General's Department raises his tone when questioning us. If we are innocent, none of these things matter because the judiciary will know what is right. The educated judges have attentively heard the evidence and have provided decisions. So no one has to be afraid or get worried about this. Everyone has to remember that everyone has to bow down to the Constitution and the law of the country.
The Government Medical Officers Association filed a complaint at the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption today. Meanwhile, convening a media briefing today, the Grade Medical Officers Union spoke of the irregularities of the GMOA.
What has happened to Minister Raj the Senaratna is as equal to a cat defecating on a rock. No matter how much you cover it up, you cannot get rid of the smell. This must be the reason why he is responding to matters through the Ministry Secretary rather than doing it himself. But the Secretary has told the truth to the country. It has been very clearly said that a final agreement has not been signed. Are we to allow Minister Rajitha to deceive the country? Which is why we have decided to lodge a complaint with the Bribery Commission on this financial irregularity.
The Government Medical Officers Association lodged a complaint with the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption, alleging that a serious financial fraud had taken place concerning the Neville Fernando Hospital in Malabar. Our attempts to contact the founder of the hospital, Dr. Neville Fernando, for a comment on the matter were unsuccessful.
The doctors in the GMOA are not raising issues concerning their profession. There are some other issues. The Health Minister has found schools for 160 children of doctors. Schools have been found for another 60 children next year, but they don't speak of any of this. When doctors are transferred every 4 years, they will have to take their children with them. Our stance is that it is wrong to decide on a school for a child based on the profession of the parent. What happens to the innocent and less privileged parents? They can't enroll their children into these schools. Doctors should be transferred by the Public Service Commission, not the Ministry. But what has been happening all this while is the GMOA places one of their junior doctors to the Ministry to control the transfers of the senior doctors. So if you abide by their terms, you are transferred to a good place. If you oppose them, you get stuck in the same place. Such a fear had been created which many of the doctors were afraid of.
A ceremony to commemorate the 71st National Day of India, organized by the Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka, was held in Colombo today. The event was held under the auspices of the High Commission of India to Sri Lanka, Taranjit Singh Sandhu.
There were men and women who represented all parts of our country. We need to draw inspiration from such brave freedom fighters. We need to invoke the same spirit today in the task of nation building. Your immense patience and understanding in the days following demonetization and your wholehearted support in the battle against corruption and black money reflected a responsible and enlightened society. Demonetization has boosted our efforts to build an honest society.
A special ceremony to commemorate the Indian National Day was held under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena. The event, which was held at the BMICH in Colombo, was attended by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, the Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Taranjit Singh Sandhu, Speaker of Parliament Karu Jayasuriya, former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga and several other dignitaries.
Former Sri Lankan cricket captain Minister Arjuna Ranatunga attributed the recent downfall of Sri Lanka cricket to its administration.
I've been saying it for the past 2 years that Sri Lanka cricket would fall to this state when the wrong people were administrating it. You cannot blame the players only. Cricket will definitely fall to this state when people who bet on races handle the sport. A very decisive letter will be addressed within the next 2 weeks because this can no longer go on like this. Today the cricketers are being blamed while the others are saving face. They are running this to gain popularity. We are disappointed about the performance and the loss of our national team. Blaming the players at a time when they are down in performance does not help build the national side. Those who are rejected and defeated are trying to come back, which is why they are misleading the people. I do not own a book or racing business. This was investigated by the country's law, international law and even ICC law, and they said I have no such thing.
Well, that's a wrap of your primetime news. Thanks for stopping by. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Nicola De Zoiza.
And I'm Shane Silva. Take care.
Good night.
Good night.